Hi, everyone. This is your weekly reading for July 5th through the 11th. So we're going to get right into it. It's going to be a very interesting week. I get a lot of uh, interesting dynamics between relationships, and there's some career options coming up for some people too. Now, as usual, I have not looked at any of the cards, so I'm going to be doing them just as is. So, we're going to be taking cards from the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Lynn. We're also going to be taking some cards from an oldie but a goodie, Angel Dreams Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Melissa Virtue. Now, Doreen doesn't do these anymore, but it's a wonderful set of messages that I can give you as well. And the third deck we have is the Shaman's Dream Oracle, which is also by Colette Baron Reed and Alberto Villaldo. So lovely decks that we are going to be taking and drawing from. And once again, it's kind of going to tell a story throughout the week. The first few cards will be for the first half of the week, and the last half of the cards will be for the last half of the week. So the first deck we're drawing from is the Sacred Destiny Oracle, and it'll coincide with the first half of the week. So the first card we have is Release. Isn't that beautiful? Now, if you see what release is showing in this particular card, it's autumn. So it's a change, it's a transformation, a transitional point. And I believe we're actually in a transitional point, and that's probably another reason why we're going to see some differences in relationships and maybe some opportunities that are going to come up as well. So I'm going to read you the deck because I do feel that the guidance cards or the guidance book is very interesting, and it brings up a lot of really interesting ideas that might relate to one person as opposed to another. So we're going to look at release. And of all the things, it says autumn light. The cooler days and change of color in the leaves marks the seasonal change from summer to autumn. The bracing wind wildly flings the red, orange, and yellow leaves from the trees as they spiral to the damp and dark earth. Lingering sunshine filters through the canopy of vividly colored leaves, creating an autumnal glow. In the great cycle of life, fall is the time of letting go. Just as spring is the time of new birth and summer the time of expansion and growth, fall is the time of the harvest. It is the time to begin the inward journey into the restoring and renewing season of winter. So the message is this. When you receive this card, it is time to let go and surrender. Let go of situations, people, and objects that do not serve you. Let go of old, outmoded, self limiting beliefs that drag you down. This is a time of stripping away superficial distractions until you reach who you are at the core. If you are holding on to the old, it is difficult for anything new to come into your life. Begin to clear your home and living environments of clutter. If you don't love it or use it, it is probably clutter. Clear it out of your space. It's time for a detox. To get ready for the new, you must release the old. Interestingly, a lot of us are releasing things that are within us. And I mean, when I said about the relationships, I believe this also coincides with last week in that we are starting to make changes within our lives, looking at the truths within our lives. What do we want now as opposed to what we wanted in 2019, 2018? I fully believe that from 2020 onward, it was a closed chapter from before. We're now into a new state of being, a new era. And that means for those of us who are still trying to get rid of things, we need to look at every aspect of our lives and make changes in every aspect of our lives. I believe that means relationships and career, looking at where we can exercise compassion and love, where we may not have seen it before, or we just did not have the right actions that showed that we had the compassion from before. Seeing another person's point of view. These are, I believe, things that are going to be coming up more so this week. We do have some planetary influences as well. And I encourage you to look at the astrology. I was saying before, I watch Pam Gregory. She's a wonderful astrologer. So that's part of the people that I usually watch. But you get an accurate version, at least looking at the astrology, to see what kind of energies that are going to be influencing you, as well as how it relates to this reading. So the first aspect is looking at releasing at the very beginning of this week. We are not quite at a full moon yet, but we're in the energy. We're getting to be in the energy. And I believe that during full moons, we do a lot of releasing. That is a perfect time for releasing. And we're getting closer and closer to feeling that sense of releasing a longer time before the actual full moon. Same thing with the new moon of manifesting. We're getting and further away from the actual time period where we can sense these things. And I do believe this is where we need to let go of certain things. And that may also be physical as well, clutter, that things that you don't need anymore. Let go of these things. Take them to a Salvation Army, or give them to someone else who can use some of these physical items, and go ahead and bring in that new energy. This is the second part of releasing, is allowing for the newness to come in. And sometimes it is difficult to make these changes. Sometimes change can be very difficult for all of us. So what this is saying is not only allowing for the release, but also allow for the newness to come in. The second card we have is called embracing. So like I say, it's basically, my cards tell a story. This is, I'm going to put it off to the other side, sorry, embracing. And it looks as though we see a beautiful crane at sunrise or sunset. And the beautiful parts of this, we see a lot of shimmering. I'm looking at it and thinking that these are fireflies. Strangely enough, I've actually been seeing some fireflies, which in the city, it's very different to see. I believe fireflies also mean transition and abundance. So we have embracing. And if we look at embracing and we look at release, embrace the release. Embracing is also a form of acceptance. So we're going to look at what the card in Sacred Destiny says, what the guidebook says. And it's embracing. The floodplains is the subtitle. A floodplain is a naturally occurring phenomenon in which the land adjacent to a river floods out to far banks of the surrounding land during times of high water. Land that is normally dry may be underwater for a period of time. When this occurs, silt, sand, and nutrients are deposited. For this reason, floodplains are often areas of great fertility as well as rich ecosystems. They are excellent areas for lush, abundant crops. It is a natural occurrence that allows life in all areas to thrive. So the message is this. Sometimes life overflows with emotions which can feel uncomfortable. However, the ensuing result of this discomfort can be of great value, perhaps arising from an unseen or unknown source. You get this card when emotions are seemingly overflowing or not flowing at all. Cherish the overflow of emotions and embrace the times that seem murky, for your inner floodplains are being replenished. And as a result, there will be great spiritual and physical expansion. Embrace all your emotions. When you do so, greater prosperity and fertility will flow into your life. Alternatively, if your emotions have been blocked, this is the time to explore and experience them. How beautifully this relates to the first card of release. When we need to let go, this also means letting go of emotions. If you have trapped emotions within you, it tends to act as a bit of a filter for the pure, unconditional love that comes from the universe. And if you let the emotions overtake you, that flow is very impeded. And it means that what happens during that time period is When you impede that flow of beautiful energy coming from the universe, then you let the other emotions take over, as in anger or depression or hurt or any anxiety, fear, any types of fear can actually set in. So, what this is allowing or asking you to do is allow these emotions to be felt. Of course, absolutely, feel them, but let them go. Release them. Don't let them fester, because if they do, then forgiveness is harder. And forgiveness is actually the opening of a door to abundance. As this says, embracing the newness that will be coming into your life. I'm not discounting the fact that you will experience some emotions, especially when it comes to relationships. But and relationships and maybe things that may come out of the world, looking at some of the news and or some events that might occur that may really that you'll feel in your heart. Take this, acknowledge it for what it is, that it could be very difficult, but then let it go. Don't hold on to the drama that comes with it. And the better you can do that, the more you can practice that, the more you can actually allow for the new energies that bring abundance of every kind into your life. This is coming up fairly strongly for this week. So we shall see how the beginning of this week actually occurs and what happens in global life and your own lives. The next card we have, this came up last week. Truth. Truth is a very, once again, there we go. Truth is a very important aspect at this time. A lot of truths are coming out in the global arena, but there's also the truth that you know within you, the truth of you that is coming out. Now we have release, embracing, and truth. All three of those go very much hand in hand, where we need to let go of anything that is impeding the truth of ourselves, of our core being, to come into light. And that could also be influenced by drama that is around us, whether it is it comes from the drama comes from people around you, events that happen in the global arena, or your career that may be waiting upon you. Sometimes we are sometimes we get to a point where we don't really want to look at the reality of maybe stepping outside of the box of finding something new. And at this time, I do understand 100% that it is difficult sometimes to find a new position, a new career. But these cards, and from what I have actually gotten intuitively for a number of months now, is that we need to step into our own light, which means establishing that and understanding the truths within ourselves. If you do not feel that you can exercise the truth of yourself and run with your passions in the job that you're in or the career that you've chosen, maybe you may need to think outside of the box and find something new. So that's in the career area of your life as a possibility. Relationships, similarities are also part of that. So we're going to look at truth. I'm going to reread that. I do find that as I see similarities in the cards, it means that it seems to be an underlying aspect that runs right throughout the month. Truth, song of the wind. Wind is in the realm of the air elements, one of the four elements of life: air, water, fire, and earth. Air takes form in the oxygen we breathe, as well as in breezes and zephyrs. It also represents our communication skills. When we speak, it is the air that passes through our mouths that allows us to speak and communicate. Wind is also prana, the source of life. As you communicate your truth to yourself and others, You'll find new energy and vitality emerging within your life. The message is this: be honest with yourself and speak from your heart. Find your truth. Listen for what is sincere and honest in others. One of the most difficult things to know is what's true for you and what isn't. Sometimes it takes sincere silence to find your inner voice of truth. But once you find it, let go of anything in your life that isn't authentic. Share your truth with others. Release relationships in which you can't be yourself and can't be real. Being genuine can allow your spirit to fly and the song of your soul to be heard in the universe. I've said this before, that the universe wants you to enjoy your life. Contrary to sometimes some beliefs and some things that we see outside of us in the environment outside of us, the universe wants us to understand that we have a say in our lives, that our will is something that governs our reality. And this is saying, just take a moment to understand the truth within yourself. Take a silence moment, a quiet moment. Check within and see if certain people, certain things like actual physical things, or your career, or your financial status have truth within you, resonates with where you are. And if it doesn't, you can reevaluate and make changes, or allow for the new changes to occur. And the way to do that is to shake up the energy a little bit, move things around in your environment, go for a walk in a place that you've never walked in before, try something new, allow for new energies to come in, and you would be very surprised at how abundant things start to come to you, whether it is ideas, love, different relationships, resources, opportunities. And sometimes opportunities come in so many different ways. Just give yourself that opportunity to allow for these things to happen. Sometimes it's harder, it's basically easier said than done. And I fully understand that. You have support, you have universal support, and likely you also have support in the form of your friends or family. So that covers the first half of the week pretty much. So we're going into the latter half of the week. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we're going into the book, the guidebook of dreams. So strangely enough, we have school lessons. Isn't that interesting? So a lot of us are not really going back to school, or some of us might actually be taking summer school. But this really has to do with learning the lessons of life. When you accept newness into your life, you also accept new lessons that you can learn and or find out about. So our life is pretty much full of lessons that we need to learn. If you take a moment to reflect upon a past relationship, a past job, a past experience within your life, you can maybe see from an upper perspective the lesson that you have learned from that. And I encourage you to do just that. Look back at some of these things. Look back at a time where it was challenging for you, because most of the lessons we learn happen to be right after a challenging experience. Take a look at this and see how it reflects. Do you think you were in elementary school? Were you in junior high or high school? Were you in post-secondary school, in college, or university? Check these things out. So reading from the guidebook, school, oh, I'm into the wrong book there. School reads as this. Lessons. School represents the lessons you're learning at this moment in your life. This dream card asks you to notice if you're learning on an elementary or university level. Who is helping you with your lessons? Acknowledge those teachers and mentors. Take time to find the answers or solutions so you can graduate. For example, perhaps you dream of being in first grade, trying to solve a math equation. The teacher is guiding you through the problem. You could interpret this to mean that you are at a beginning level of this lesson in your life. You're trying to solve an issue that has you stumped. Your dream might be telling you that you need to ask for help, or one in which you forget your homework might be a sign that you're panicking over something that could easily be resolved. There are additional meanings, including some of before bedtime, focus your situation with the intention to have your lessons revealed in your dreams. Or if you've dreamed of school, notice what you were learning as it represents symbolically or literally the lesson of this moment or particular situation. And if you ever need any help in establishing what your dreams, your actual dreams, have in meaning symbolically or literally, you're more than welcome to contact me, and maybe we can work through that together just to find out piece together what the dreams actually mean, where they are giving you lessons. So the lessons that you're learning right now, the lessons that we all are learning right now, have to do with each and everyone's unique experience on this planet. And it means that everybody's going to experience something differently, every last one of us, which is a lot of experiences. So as a collective, we are all being asked to reflect. Some of the mentors and teachers that we have had in our lives and that we have right now are the ones that give us the most challenges. Supervisors, maybe managers, maybe an ex, like an ex-husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend, or a relationship, family, or friendship that may be very challenging. Plus, some of the jobs that you've had that have been maybe physically exhausting or mentally, emotionally exhausting. These are all lessons that we need to look back at and glean from it what lesson we learn from there. And this is a time that can be done in that quiet contemplation. At the same time, new ideas or new thoughts as to why, or literally understanding the lessons that you've learned, comes from the newness of the energy that's coming in when you let go and you release those things that do not serve you anymore. So continuing on, going into the weekend, very nice. We're now using the Shaman's Dream Oracle, and we're looking at beloved, radical acceptance. Isn't that beautiful? It looks like it's burning away things that are no longer serving us. It seems like it's also going to be a very interesting week. So, beloved, radical acceptance means this: the object of affection, radical acceptance, loving what is. When the beloved appears, it requires 100% of your heart, body, and soul. Don't try to squeeze the beloved into your schedule. Drop the busyness and receive the one you have been waiting for. Know that this card comes as a mirror to show you the divine within and invite your radical acceptance of everything you consider beautiful or ugly in your being. The beloved may not be a person at all. It might be a business venture, a project, or an adventure calling for your full attention. Love it. Let it light you up and give it your all. Surrender to this truth and know that you are gaining a passport to bliss, even when it feels that you are being consumed by the fire of the beloved. Do not hold back or be afraid, for you will emerge transformed. Surrender is the key. Allow yourself to be loved. Usher the harsh critic out the door and shut your eyes and ears to the judgment of others who have not been ignited by the divine blaze consuming you, for they will only attempt to douse your fire and leave you choking on the smoke. Be careful you are not seduced by false promises or falling prey to your extraordinary ability to sabotage your dreams and desires. Are we all? Sync with and sink into your heart. Sync as an SYNC. Sync with and sink into your heart and trust your sense of what is true, and you will know what to do. The true beloved is never false. Every gift proffered is valuable. Recognize the many faces of the beloved and welcome them into your heart. You will be so glad you did. Now, this is basically allowing you or asking you to allow everything that doesn't seem like you should allow in. And it goes right in line with the entire week. But I believe what's happening at this point is a culmination of all the lessons that you feel that you've learned, looking back, reflecting in the mirror, and seeing how the divine has created this story for you to learn. And with that aha moment, possibly, or as I would say, maybe downloads from the universe, you may also find clarity as to what has been released and who has been released and why this has happened. I do believe that you are asked to acknowledge and accept yourself. You are the beloved, and accept everything about you, whether it is the good, the bad, and the ugly. That is something that is really hard for all of us to do, but we can do it. And we can all do it together. The last card we have that tells the story is gathering around the power of community. Oh, this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If you see how incredible it is with these little fairies in the garden, gathering around the power of community. Now, a lot of us have gone through a lot of heartache with the restrictions that have happened throughout the last year and a half, and we've lost touch with some people around us. This is the physical form of losing touch of these people. Check inside to see whether or not they're resonating with you at this time. Because sometimes there has to be a lull so that we can reevaluate who and what is right for us at this time. We all change, and we change at different times in our lives. This is saying the power of community is the community that you are about to create and or creating right now. Those who are part of your life and part of your community will resonate with you at this time. That which you let go of and the energies and things that you let go of will bring you a newness that will establish the community that you're either about to create for yourself or that you are stepping into right now. What this may also be or indicate is that if we do have any more restrictions placed upon us because of different things happening globally, then the power of community is within us, not necessarily physically, it's within us. We have a state of consciousness that we can all be part of, and that can also be our community, staying in touch with those who are of the same consciousness. So gathering around the power of community, being safe and secure, allowing help. There are times when you need positive reinforcement from others. Perhaps your journey has made you tired just before reaching the proverbial finish line where your friends await to cheer your arrival. Know this, you are not alone, regardless of whether you think you are. People gather around to help with your next step as you bring it forth from the cosmos into the beauty of your life. There has never been another you before, and you have a unique relationship with your friends, families, communities, and all those who gather to help you in the unseen realms. Now is the time to allow assistance from others. Ask for it and trust that you will receive it. You are safe and secure right now in this moment, truly supported in your beautiful, amazing, complicated life. You are heard by angels, witnessed by the divine, and loved, yes, loved, now and always by life itself. Whatever your query, you will find the help you need to achieve what you desire, and you will not have to do this alone. Count on it. It's a lovely way to actually end the week. What I'm seeing is that at the beginning of the week, starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to go through some transformations. We're going to feel as though we're going to need to let go of things. And sometimes these things might actually just come up and have us have no choice but to let go. And that will be very, very deeply disturbing emotionally. If that does occur, the system of just allowing it to occur and allow that new energy to come through will be the best choice of action at this time. Midweek, we will start to take the option to basically stand still and turn around and look at the lessons that we've learned from the past. And that's a wonderful way of reflection, to let go of things that no longer serve you and establish what it was that you learned. Then going forward into the weekend, we're now recognizing a newness about ourselves and how beautiful we really truly are, accepting everything that we are. If we're able to look very closely at how we differ, but at the same time are just as beautiful as everyone else that's around us, then we can live in harmony with those who are around us. And speaking of those who are around us, that leads us to the following weekend, which is about community and making sure that you know who it is that resonates with you and what it is that resonates with you. You will establish those people who are supporting you and know that you are definitely never alone. There is always someone out there, whether it's someone you know or someone you don't. You will be able to find that community no matter who and where it is, because the way the universe works, it aligns with what you need at this time. It sounds like it's going to be a pretty interesting week. I hope it is for you. And if you find that these messages are resonating with you, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I plan on doing weekly readings for everyone and some readings as well with another person that will be full moon and new moon readings. So I hope it's a wonderful week for everyone. And I look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.